One of the things that you're going to realize when you are a coach is that sales is going to be a huge thing in your journey and something that you need to first learn yourself in order to later on, even be able to delegate that to closers, appointment setters, and, a whole, sales manager if you plan to go that big, right? But it's something that you need to really master in order to later on being able to outsource that because if you try to outsource it before, when it's too early, you don't really have a proven track record or a proven way, a proven framework to use. And so your sales system is just going to be all over the place. You really want to be the authority, the first foundation, for your business or in your business when it comes to sales, so that when you start hiring people, you can introduce them to this system that you have. The problem that I found for most of my career here is that I haven't really had a clear way to think about sales. It's just this almost like in my mind, this abstract thinking or abstract thought of like, okay, you just pay on some game and then you just close the deal or something, right? But when you start to realize or learn a little more about sales, you realize that actually this is a skill that you need to master. It's a set of steps, a framework that you implement, that you practice, and then you go on your sales calls, and you know, almost like a skill in a video game, you get better at it, and then your results get better, of course, closing more deals. And so today I'm going to talk about something that I've noticed has helped me tremendously throughout my journey here, learning sales. I'm going to tell you about who am I in a second, but this video is going to be more about scriptless selling. This is a new concept that I found very recently from creators like Alex Beck, which is former Gym Launch closer, as well as Iman Gatzi's closer as well at Educate. I think he was the number one cash collected closer in Iman's team, excuse me, Iman Gatzi. And also something I learned from JJ Hernandez, which also worked at Gym Launch and with Iman Gatzi. And so this concept, scriptless selling, is going to be a new formula that, for me, changed it all. And hopefully is going to do that for you as well. So, why should you hear me or why should you listen to me? Well, and to be honest, you don't have to. This is just a way for me to share progress where I can start to talk to fitness coaches or coaches in general to grow their business. Okay, that's kind of my journey. I'm trying to document that. And at the moment, I don't have any fancy titles. I haven't worked with Iman Gatsi or Alex Ramosi or anything like that. But I'm gonna tell you the lessons that I've been learning along the way. So let's get into it. Okay, so why is scriptless selling the future of sales? And the reason why is twofold. Okay, there's two reasons why I found it to be the case, and I'm gonna read it to you right now because I have this in a little script talking about scriptless. But the number one lesson is that you're following a script, and this does not allow you to be fully present in the conversation. And what that allows you to do, or the result of not being fully present in your sales calls, is that you cannot really create this connection, and because you're not present, you're not able to pick up on the little things that you can overcome immediately in the moment because you're not present, right? You're thinking about what is the next question to ask, and you're not really paying that much attention on if this person is not convicted, if this person is skeptical, if this person is not really committed to do this right now. And if you are actually present, you're gonna realize, okay, this guy doesn't really, want to improve his fitness. Well, maybe that's not worth my time. Let me just ask him, hey bro, is this something that you don't look really certain about this? Is something you're really trying to change? Is this a priority for you? It's more just like, yeah, I'm just looking for something, not really looking to buy anything, because that is going to otherwise um, appear at the end of the call after you have dropped the price, and the person now, when you try to do the objection handlings, he's going to think, oh, this is just another salesman who's gonna, or saleswoman who's gonna just try to, just sell me into his program. And no, thank you so much. I'm leaving the call, right? That's kind of the difference here. And you want to be a former where before you have even dropped the price, This is like a conversation where it's almost like you are not trying to manipulate them and you're just trying to see, okay, is this something you're really trying to do? And so that is the first thing or the first reason why I think scriptless selling is the way to go. And the second reason, big reason, is that a script cannot really, realistically cannot really contain or, capture the complexity of a conversation on a sales call, really. And because, imagine you're trying to learn a new script for your business, you're developing this script. Imagine, a salesperson comes here, helps you with appointment setting, helps you with, closing the deals, and then you give him a script this fucking big for him to actually memorize it, which of course is just, I mean, I don't think somebody's going to be able to memorize every single path that the conversation could take. But also, this person is not going to be present. It's just going to be reading the script, you know, just really just thinking about the next question to ask without really being present and without picking on the little things that the prospect is saying or is acting, or is behaving, or it's subconsciously almost like showing to you, but you don't really hear because, you're thinking about the next question to ask, right? And so that's the second thing. That way, or, for these reasons, a better approach and it's kind of the breakthrough in my opinion, what I found is the best approach is to learn a framework, not a script. A framework, which is a way of thinking about sales without necessarily, saying what or what is the script word by word. And this allows you to, at all times, being able to know where the conversation is going or where the conversation is at in the framework, and then being able to say, okay, so this in the discovery part, before I, draw the price and or do the pitch, I need to get done with, certain amount of commitment, or destroy other possibilities, or dig deeper into the pain. In your mind, you always have clear where is it that you are at, in the journey, which allow you to, almost like take control, take, the sales call by the horns, and really just move it where you want to go. And the last thing I'm gonna say before I get into the framework that I found from JJ Hernandez and Alex Beck is I found that scriptless selling is the way to become great at sales. I think there's a lot of people who say they're, good at sales, but realistically they are not. And the real difference I found is that you can put a world-class salespeople into a completely different offer, which might not even be about fitness coaching. It might be about crypto, learning how to do forex trading or whatever, some sort of product. And the world class salesperson, is going to be able to, close deals in this new offer. Not necessarily being or make hundreds of thousands, but, you know, just really knowing how to navigate that situation. Whereas the fitness coach or a, salesperson with a script just gonna be absolutely lost because he does not have a script for that new offer, right? And so that's kind of where I really see the difference. And I don't know about yourself, but in my opinion, I want to be the guy who I can be on any offer, I can be, you know, closing any deals, and I'm always going to have this skill inside me to be able to close deals on command, right? Which is an amazing skill to have. So now, having said that, I'm gonna get into the framework and hopefully you enjoy it. All right, so this is the framework that I should not be sharing with you, but I'm gonna do it because I think it's really important. Again, this is not mine. This belongs to JJ Hernandez and Alex Beck. So all credit to them. But let me just go here and explain what I found. So we start first of all, of course, with the intro. Hey, what's going on? Happy Friday, doing well. It's quick report over here. Cool, nice to meet you, man. I know we have here 30 minutes, so I do want to be as tactical as possible. So, is that okay, or is that cool with you if we can, jump into it? Is that okay with you? They said yes. Awesome. Okay, cool. And then the last thing in the pleasantries in research method slash agenda, kind of in the bridge here, is essentially you setting the frame of the call, how the call is going to go, okay, and what are you guys going to do in this call. And we're going to do that in the following way by just saying, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to take control of the call. So you just sit down here and then enjoy the ride. Okay, so I got here a sample that is very well used or very well known, and you can use it if you're beginning in sales. Later on, you can start to like add your own, you know, style to this, but this is kind of the framework that then you can build on it. Okay, so that's, well, just letting you know, name. The point of this conversation today is to figure out where you're at right now, where you're gonna go, and understand if I can help you. After that, if you like what you hear and all makes sense, and you think it's a good fit for you, we'll go ahead and I'll show you on my screen how it can help. And of course, if I can't help, I'll let you know, and we're gonna be internet friends from there. How does that sound? That's an example of the pleasantries in research method. Okay. From there, we can go to agenda. Although this is something that they say to do it here, or sometimes, and I think what I found is a better approach might be to say it right before the pitch. So instead of being here, we can cancel this and put it right before over here. For the following reasons, I'm gonna tell you, excuse me, agenda over here. But essentially, an agenda here, yes or no, means like you're going to ask them, okay, this is essentially like a decision making call. So at the end of the call, we're going to, or I'm going to be expecting you to make a decision. So, is it okay with you? You can make a decision at the end of the call. Of course, you're not going to say it that direct, but you're going to make them understand, or you're going to make them see that, this is not something that you're going to use. Do the pitch, and then you say, you know, think about it, and then get back to me when you have an answer. You want to tell them, okay, this is actually something that, ideally we're making a decision here on the call. Okay, so that's kind of the agenda and decision, or yes or no decision. Then from there, that's essentially the agreements. Is that okay with you? Cool. After that, you have introduced, or like this part of the call has absolutely been, on point, and you're setting yourself for success later on. Okay. From there, you're going to pre-qualify any red flags that you see in these prospects. For example, if you see that this guy doesn't have any money, if his background is, absolute shit, and you might think that he doesn't have any money, for example, and that's gonna be a concern for him later on. You just have to call it out. Realistically saying like, or for example, let's say that this guy is, I don't know, 12 years old or 15 years old or 18 years old, and you might think that this guy doesn't have any money for you, coaching. In that case, you can just say, hey, listen, man, like, I see that you're pretty young. This is you know, it's a pretty expensive program. It's not cheap. And so just want to make sure that, you have a way to pay this or something like that. So that way they can tell you, oh no, actually I have my own business, or yeah, I mean my family really supports me, so no problem. Because if this person told you, man, like realistically, I don't have a lot of money right now. I have less than $1,000 on my name, so you know, from there you can just say, hey, listen, man, like essentially for you, I'm gonna tell you this for you for a viewer. At this point, you just have to cut the call early and then say, bro, I mean, we can refer you to any other free resources, or maybe downsell you to other lower cost opportunities or variations of this program, like a book, a community, stuff like that, but not the main program that is, $5,000 for for an entire year, for example. So that's kind of the point of the pre-qualifying red flags. Okay. From there, we're gonna move to the discovery. I am not going to be able to here create a masterclass because I'm not a big expert here. But I want to give you the framework, okay? Maybe you can later on start to learn from Alex Beck and JJ Hernandez, or maybe next videos I upload here in this channel, each part of here, because I understand that realistically this is not a video I can make with my current knowledge and under 250 hours of the length of the video. So I'm just going to tell you the parts, okay? So from there you go to discovery, then you go down to overview. What are you currently doing? How is that working? Then you move to goals, what are you trying to achieve? Then you move to struggles, or the things that you are, you know, struggling with right now. What is the gap to get into that where you want to go? Then from there you go to the experience. What have you tried so far to fix this problem, and why hasn't it worked? From there, you're gonna go to the timeline and buy in. So, hey, bro, is this something that you're looking to do, to change or to improve here, in the next month, as soon as possible, or maybe later on, you don't really have a time frame here. Oh, I'm looking to do this in as soon as possible. Okay, cool. Let's move on. If they say, realistically, now, I think in a month from now, you can just save yourself all the rest of the call. Or, realistically, this is something that you have to upfront right now, because at the end of the call, if you don't upfront this right now, or if you don't overcome this right now, they're just going to tell you, hey, man, like, it sounds amazing, but I just not trying to do this right now, and so you have no other option other than just confront it right there. Okay, timeline slash buy-in, and if they tell you, in a month from now, you can just go for it from there. Like, okay, so why in a month from now and not in 6 months from now, or creating this kind of urgency here. Why not now? Realistically, and dig deeper into that. Okay, you might even be able to essentially transform his mind into realizing that, well, actually, this is something I actually need in as soon as possible or right now. From there, you're gonna move to, would it be out of this world? So basically, this is a statement where they say something like, essentially similar to the agenda, where they tell you, hey, if at the end of the call you find that the solution that we have here for this problem that you told me you have here in the discovery can be solved, or that we can solve that, would be out of this world for us to say that we can get you started today, or we can get you, sign up to your program today. If they say no, it would not be out of the world or out of this world. You're essentially getting out of the way the objection of, like, hey, listen, like, this is not something I want to do right now, I need to think about it, whatever. If they say, that's not really clear, like, oh, it might, it depends on what you guys do, for example, then in that case you can just go for the hard hitting thing, which is the agenda. Sometimes a lot of people recommend, or these guys recommend, to do first the will be out of this world statement, and then from there, if that doesn't really hit in, you go for the agenda. So, a good example is this over here. So, but at the end of the call name, all I'm looking for is a yes or no. The last thing I want to avoid is just third one, which is a maybe. You're gonna think about it. You need to talk about it with your dog, your sister, your cousins, uncles, to make sure this is what you want to do. So, can we keep this to it yes or no here? Is that okay with you? So that way, you almost like just really hit them with the, okay, I'm not going to tell you, I want to think about it later on. Okay, so from there, you're going to go over before doing the pitch, or essentially the pitch is the turning point where you become, or your role in the sales call goes from, okay, maybe an advisor, to, this guy is just trying to sell me something. Okay, so because of that, you want to confront finance if there's any red flags with finance here, or you want to make sure that this is the decision maker. Okay, before you go into the pitch, because as soon as you get into the pitch, the theme of the conversation completely flips. Okay, and maybe you can feel like right now you are in the same side of the table discussing how to, solve a problem, but then when you drop the price and do the pitch, it might feel like you guys are in different times or different, parts of the table, almost like you're arguing, so that's what you want to avoid at all costs. Okay, so from there you go for a pitch: benefit one, benefit two, benefit three. Very simple pitch, under 5 minutes for sure, ideally under 3 minutes. As the faster you can do it, the better. From there, you want to get into the confirmation. The confirmation basically is, and I have here a example, is, for example, Brian, after going over all that information, excuse me, I know that was a lot, but does that sound remotely like what you're looking for? Yes. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna move for the next step, which is, as I say here, is any reasons it wouldn't work for you. So you can say here, now, is there any reason why you think it wouldn't work for you here? And then you can start doing the objection handling. It can be self-doubt, mostly is mostly the case, if you have a great product, and then from there you can just start doing the objection handling from then on. And then essentially, this all that part is just about objection handling, intent, finance, decision maker, and then all of the steps, or all of these steps lead for the close. Okay, I can't. I realize I'm not in the position to do a objection handling framework here or objection handling video, but what I will say is that more videos on that are going to be dropping later on or very soon. So if you have any questions, just go and look for other videos from JJ Hernandez and Alex Beck. These are the guys that I found to be really transformative. Also, another guy is Scott B. His last name I think is B. I'm gonna drop their links in the description so you can just go check them out. And yeah, having said that, that is the video, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.